There is nothing that will kill your webinar funnel faster than not knowing your numbers. So let's get into webinar funnel KPIs, or key performance indicators. We're going over how to find the numbers, how to know what to aim for, and then how to make the necessary fixes if your numbers fall below what you need to be aiming for. There's 7 steps to this funnel. We're talking about a live webinar funnel right here rather than a pre-recorded. And to recap what we've got as steps, we've got the media. This could be an email, piece of organic content, or ad. We've got the landing page where people can register, people who will then show up live on the webinar itself. Then we've got the people that will actually stay for your pitch, where you actually make your offer, and then we'll get people booking in. Most likely, if it's a high ticket thing, you're saying, here's the offer, then go ahead and book in on the call. Then they'll show up for the call, and then they'll finally go ahead, buy, and become a client. So that's what we've got. Those are the 7 steps. This is a great funnel. I love running webinars, but because there are lots of steps, lots of people can neglect different pieces along the way. They don't really know what to aim for, meaning they don't know what to optimize, and then therefore they can't scale their webinar funnel. And I wanted to make this video for you to help you out with that, really. So the first thing that we're looking at here is a click. We're assuming that we're running some meta ads here, and we're going to be going for a 1% to 2% click-through rate. The metric that we're looking for here is the link CTR, and you can find that in your meta ads manager. So you just go through, scroll through, find where it is, look for link click-through rate. You don't want all click-through rate, because that's going to be going to your profile, it's going to be going to the comments. You don't want that. We want to be tracking people that are actually clicking through to the link to your landing page. If you have a problem with this, if you're not falling within this range, we need to change the ad. How do we change the ad? Different hook, different audience pocket. Let me scroll across, different type. This can be, if you're running lots of static ads, then running some video ads. If you're running loads of video ads that are very similar, Meta isn't going to like that based on recent updates in the last year or so. So if you're running lots of, B-roll ads, then maybe do some talking head ads, or maybe do some handheld selfie ads, different clothes on, different locations that you're in. Maybe do some green screen ads, some whiteboard ads, lots of different types of ads. Switch those up. The actual benefits that you're talking about, and also the problems that you're helping them alleviate. It's all about really understanding your market here and being able to craft the right messaging to actually get them to click at the end of the day. The other thing you also want to be aware of is track that little metric that says CPM in your meta ads manager. And you want it to be, like, I've got a client right now that's running about $30 CPM. That's quite low, but it can be 100, maybe 150. But really you just want it to make sure that it's kind of somewhere in that range. We don't have an awful lot of control over that. If you do have a really high CPM, it could be that you're maybe retargeting to an audience that's too small, something like that, to a small audience. And when I say small, it's kind of in the less than 100 range. So that's what we're looking at there. If you do have a problem with that, not between 1% and 2%, that could be your main bottleneck. But let's keep looking. Let's keep looking to see if there's a bottleneck that's easier to actually fix, and therefore would become our priority. And basically, we're just looking for the one that can double the easiest. So opt-in rate. This is going to be, you're going to calculate this by the number of clicks divided by the number of registrations. So if you've got 100 clicks and you get 10 registrations, that's a 10% opt-in rate. What we're aiming for here is between 15 and 20%. That's what we want. If you're looking at yours right now and you're like, oh, I'm at 4%, this could be the bottleneck that you prioritize first, because you could quite easily 4x your opt-in rate to get it within this range. So how do we actually improve that? Well, it's going to be things like congruence. Making sure that your ad is congruent with the landing page. If you're talking about how veterans can start an Amazon FBA business, you need to make sure that your landing page is about how veterans can start an Amazon FBA business, for example. The other thing is going to be the landing page copy. Most importantly, the headline. It's also going to be the, like, check if it's broken. Like, lots of people are running ads, to landing pages that they just haven't checked in a while, and they're actually broken. It could be a 404 error, it could be a server error, it could be like it's all janky, it's all over the place. So check for brokenness. Mobile friendliness. It could be the load speed. And your page could be loading fine as it is, but if you're using something like Webinar Jam, then if you're using the Webinar Jam default form, when you click on the button, it spins these wheels and it takes a long time for that to load. So that's one of the things that you could say, okay, we're not going to deal with that. We're not going to tolerate that. We're going to just change it to our own form that's going to load quicker. Like the actual design, like it's not a huge thing. Like a lot of simple pages convert pretty well. But if you're doing some like design that's like way too extra, or it's just frankly ugly, then you're not going to get good results from it. The next thing that we are looking at is going to be the attendance rate. So this is going to be the number of people that register. Sorry, I actually did this the wrong way around. Registrations divided by clicks. So this is going to be the number of people that attend, divided by the number of people that register. So as you'll see, it's going to be this metric right here, and that's an absolutely huge line. Maybe we can make that a bit thinner. And we want to take peak attendance. So that's going to be probably about 15 minutes into your webinar. What was the maximum number of people that were in the room? That's what we're going to determine to be our peak attendance. And then you're going to divide that by your registrations there. What are we aiming for here? I hear you ask. We're going for 20% to 35%. Ideally 30% plus. But sometimes if you are running traffic to a cold audience, then you might experience 20%. That is still okay. We can still tolerate that. If this seems to be your bottleneck right now, if this is the one where you're like, yeah, this is the one I could probably 4x and land within this range, then there's a lot of things that we need to change here. And if you are someone who's struggling a bit with your webinar, I would be willing to bet that this might be your issue. So there's a lot of things that we can do to fix your attendance rate. And it actually just so happens that when you fix your attendance rate, a lot of the other metrics help out down the line as well, because you end up with just a more high-performing sales process, I suppose. So what can we do here? Email sequence. Between 15 and 30 emails. This is going to be all about handling objections. I think I just need to give myself a little bit more space, please bear with me. Handling objections, telling stories, going over case studies, talking about the market opportunity, why now, benefits, and then digging into pain points. So 15 to 30 emails is a really good number to go for. You want to hit people heavy on the day that they register and also the day of the webinar. That's where you're going to send the most emails, maybe between 6 and 8 on those days. Other things that we want to fix. We want to make sure that we've got SMS going out. We want to make sure that we've got the setter educating people. Talking to the people that register, having a conversation just like, oh, what is it that you're looking to gain from this? Or are there any questions that you want host name to go over on the webinar? And then they can start to engage a conversation. Oh, take a look at this piece of content, this YouTube video, this written post, this email, whatever it may be. And then you can just help to nurture these people and get them way more likely to show up. And as I say, as I'm sure you can imagine, because you'll be a smart person, things like this are going to be things that help people stay for the pitch. It's going to be helping people to schedule and also show and then also end up purchasing as well. But these are all the things that you want to make sure that you're doing to have a really good attendance rate. Then we also need to make sure we've got this post registration page. So this is going to be a VSL, next steps, and handling FAQs. And I will just extend this a bit more because I realize that there's so much to go through for attendance rate. And then what else do we have? We've got, oh, the WhatsApp group. So when people register, get everyone in a group together. It could be WhatsApp if you're in Europe. It could be Telegram if you've got people maybe in the trading space, something like that. It could just be like an Instagram broadcast group. It could be a whatever it is. Like, get people in a group, get people in a community together, get them excited, get them ready to show up, and then be sharing like different voice notes that you can share. Like, okay, this is an exclusive community for people that can hear from me ahead of the event. Get people hyped up. Those people are going to be very engaged people, so you might as well just keep nurturing those, and then they're going to be more likely to buy at the end of it as well. Now we've got the people that stay for the pitch. So, as I mentioned, we've got all these post-registration processes, congruence throughout, everything like that. These are best practices that we want to make sure, and they are going to help people stay for the pitch. But this is where the slides actually come to play. And this is going to be your attendance at time of pitch, start of pitch. So let's say this will be at the 60-minute mark, you make your pitch. Then it's going to be divided by your peak attendance. And what we're aiming for here, we're aiming for 80% plus. So congruence from the above, making sure that everything like that is dialed in that we've got before that. But we also want to make sure that our slides are great. So there are so many things to talk about with slides. I've got some webinar breakdowns on my channel as well that you can check out after this video. So I don't want to go into like a huge amount of depth, but just in terms of fundamentals, what we're looking for. We're looking for storytelling. We're looking for wow, not how. I think I got that from Jeremy Haynes. It's the idea that you share, like, this is the great thing that you can achieve, but it's not the step-by-step meticulous process on how to actually execute on this, because then the person won't need to stay for the pitch. Then what else have we got? Like short slides. I think aiming for between like 5 and 10 seconds, probably closer to 5 seconds per slide that you're spending on each of those. Slide design, don't overdo slide design. Keep them simple. Make it pleasant. Obviously, like charisma and good presentation skills are going to be things that you want to do. Also, just logical, understandable. All of these things are really important to make sure that someone's actually ready to stay, and they're like, oh, this is actually helpful. And then also sharing some value as well. If you're someone that's creating a lot of content, you've got a decent amount of following as it is, these kind of points at the end will probably come quite naturally to you. I would say storytelling is really important though, which might be something that some people leave out. But when you're able to tell stories, you're able to help people put themselves in your shoes and believe that they can do it themselves. And that's one of the most important sales, is the sale of the self, right? Oh, another thing around attendance rate, by the way, is don't promote too soon. So if there's a webinar coming up in 2 weeks, I'm not going to show up for it anywhere nearly as likely as if I was registering for a webinar that's going to be tomorrow. So don't do any sort of long promotion sequence. Just quick 4 days, get that, like, go heavy on everything that you're doing, on the content, on the ads, everything. Keep it concentrated, keep it dense, and then just run the webinar, and you'll get a good attendance rate there. Anything else in stay for pitch? I think that might be about it. And then how do we actually get people to schedule? So this is going to be the attendance at time divided by the attendance of time of pitch is going to be the number of schedules. Bookings divided by the attendance at the time of pitch. What are we looking for here? We're looking for 30%. if you're struggling to hit a 30% rate, maybe it's around like 3%, then this is going to be the big thing that you want to change, because you have put so much effort in to getting the good ads, good landing page, good post registration sequence, making sure that the slides are good to get people on that pitch. But then if they're not actually booking in, then that time's wasted. So how do we fix this? Well, it's going to be your slides. Again, it's going to be the storytelling. And again, it's going to be the wow, not how again, because if someone believes they can do it themselves, they've got no reason to book in. It's going to be the strength of the offer. It's going to be the intrigue about the call. And it's also going to be how long you stay in the pitch. This is a killer for lots of people who haven't done this many times before. The first webinar I ran actually was for a client who hadn't run a sales webinar before, but had run hundreds of live trainings, presentations, everything like that. So I was actually less concerned, and mistakenly so, about this ability to present. But yeah, he ended up super uncomfortable when it came down to the pitch. He just kind of sprinted through the pitch, and it didn't perform nearly as well as I'd have hoped, which was a real shame, because there was a huge amount of value with that offer. But yeah, being able to stay in this pitch is going to be an uncomfortable thing, but it's going to be a thing that actually gets a really strong schedule rate, hitting that 30% and above. So it's going to be things like, okay, so it's going to be FAQ. Sorry, it's not just going to be an FAQ, it's going to be a Q, then it's going to be the A, and then it's going to be back to the pitch. So everything someone asks, then you're going to give them the answer, and then you're going to present the call as the solution there. Then the show rate. Now, if you're already in info, you're probably aware of these things. We're looking for a 70% plus for this. And then it's going to be like call attendees divided by the bookings. We're aiming for 70% plus, and it's going to come down to the pre-sequence, how far out they can book. It's going to come down to what the setter's doing. And it's going to be the value of the call as well. And then finally, we're just going for purchase. So this is new clients over calls sat. And we're aiming for 30% and above here, because people are pretty warm at this point. If you're running a book a call funnel, VSL funnel to cold traffic, you might not expect that. But here, 30% plus, 35% plus even, is something that we want to go for. And it's going to come down to closer skill, congruence, offer strength, things like risk reversal, etc., etc. So those are the 7 steps of the webinar funnel, the KPIs to aim for, how to actually find the numbers, how to actually fix the numbers as well. I hope you found this valuable. I've actually enjoyed making it for you, and I think it's good to have all this information into one place. If you do need help running a webinar funnel, then contact me. You can scroll down, you can click the link below, and then you'll be able to schedule a call with me where we'll be able to talk about running your funnel and building out the marketing and sales systems. I'm Lewis. I run a company called Funnel House, where we partner with coaches, particularly in the business and the investment space, and help them to run webinar funnels or different types of funnels as well, depending on what's best for them, to be able to scale to multiple 6 figures per month and beyond. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.